Hi, Tom Barnett here again with another story behind the illustration. This one recounting a drawing that was very much tied to the title, but engaging in some easily decipherable wordplay. This segment was my opportunity up front in the book to preemptively deal with expected counter-criticisms of my vision that basically state, how can we deal with climate change when we're on the verge of widespread nuclear proliferation and/or nuclear war? A familiar excuse used by the global north for decades now whenever the global south asks for some serious economic consideration. Thus, my goal in this segment was to show that the nuclear club, well, it ain't so easy to gain entrance, despite all the long-standing, popular, and even expert fears and predictions of widespread, rapid, increasing proliferation. On this one, I knew from the start that I wanted to play off the term club. So I went out and found, pretty easily, some examples of political cartoons leveraging the same wordplay. And I say wordplay because it's technically not really a pun. So this is what I showed Jim to get him going on the subject. I just pasted this image into the first draft of the segment that I shared with him. Meanwhile, and by design, Sarah Nuttall went off on her own and came up with some conceptuals. The first one I liked a lot, but it was too sanguine, even for me. It just would have left me too open to the charge of naivete. Still, some genuine truth to the concept if you're a glass half full type like me. More to the exclusivity argument, the second drawing, her second conceptual, gives off this club vibe in a cool, oblique manner. Going up, it seems to ask. Now here's an example where Sarah's conceptual drawing didn't find core expression in the final drawing, and yet it impacted it in several ways. Let me point out two ways here, and I'll revisit them later. First, her concept of the potted plants on each side. Second, the Easter egg of a placement of a nuclear symbol going on the going up light atop the door. Here we get to Jim Nuttall's first attempt. I immediately liked it, hence the green thumbs up attached during the initial review. Exclusivity implied, along with barriers to entry, and then there are actors actively seeking to thwart your admittance. I especially like the Easter egg bit of the mushroom cloud embedded in the decorative trim above. Traditionally, the carving of that sort of thing is something that suggests a welcoming image to the guest who may be approaching the door. Typically, it's a flower, a winged baby, fruit of a various sort. The image of a pineapple is a classic one. So I like that idea of sticking that little image in the middle of the trim on top. I thought that was really clever. This is how Jim fleshed it out for submission with the manuscript to Ben Bella in August of 2022. And note the addition on either side, Sarah's potted plants. Jumping ahead to a more cleaned up version used in the review copy, all the details brought out clearly, the true intent revealed in everything. Then on to the Red Team review, where our reviewers, Myrta Dodens and Andy Martin, spotted yet another small opportunity to drive the imagery further home. Why not have the door knocker labeled with the nuclear warning sign? Again, bringing along an idea first broached by Sarah in her competing conceptual drawing. And that brings us to the final version, where Jim made one further alteration, namely, he gave our bouncers actual faces. So even here, where we took inspiration from an outside cartoon, you see how the collaboration got us something just that much more clever and illustrative, because everyone involved in the process put in the work to make it just so in the end. And that's the story behind this wonderful illustration. As always, we love it when people buy the book, when they recommend the book, when they praise the book online. I and my Throughline colleagues, we feel very passionate about this work. Please consider subscribing to my Substack newsletter, and see you next time, next illustration.